The second semifinal of the Africa Cup of Nations goes down on Wednesday, February 7th, between Ivory Coast and DR Congo at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. It's Les Elephants of Ivory Coast versus the Leopards of DR Congo. It's Ivory Coast that will come in favorite at plus 110 odds. The draw at plus 210. Congo are the underdogs at plus 320. Ivory Coast to simply advance by any means is minus 200. Congo to advance by any means is plus 150. Over 2.5 being plus 187 odds. Under 2.5 favorite at minus 250. Both teams to score yes, plus 125. Both teams to score no, minus 175. For Ivory Coast, the host nation, they only advanced as one of the final third-place teams to move on. They were 1-0-2 in Group A. They beat Guinea-Bissau starting off the tournament well, 2-0. They then lost 1-0 to Nigeria and lost 4-0 to Equatorial Guinea in the round of 16. They drew Senegal 1-1 and went on to win 5-4 in PKs. Then last round in the quarterfinals, they overcame 2 red cards to advance past Mali 2-1. They took a red card in the 43rd minute. Mali scored in the 71st. Ivory Coast tied it late in the 90th minute. Ivory Coast then got the winner at the end of second half extra time. And at the 122nd minute, both teams took late red cards in the 123rd and 125th minutes as well. For Congo, they were second in Group F at 0-3-0. They drew 1-1 with Zambia, 1-1 with Morocco, and 0-0 with Tanzania. In the round of 16, they scored first versus Egypt in the 37th minute, but Egypt drew level just minutes later in first half stoppage time. The game went on to go to penalties, where it was tied 1-1, and Congo won 9-8 in penalties. Last round in the quarterfinals, they played Guinea. Guinea scored first on a PK in the 21st minute, but then it was all Congo scoring in the 27th, the 65th on a PK, and in the 82nd minute to win 3-1. Congo led in shots and shots on target. They led in shots 12-7, and shots on target were tied 3-3. Guinea had more of the possession with 63%, and the edge in corners at 4-3. For Ivory Coast, they have 5 players this tournament who have each scored 1 goal. Seko Fofana is the clear leader in shots, though, on their team with 15 shots and 4 shots on target. For Congo, Young Wissa leads with 2 goals. 4 others all have 1. Wissa also easily leads their team in shots. He has 17. That's 18 more than the next closest player, Bonganda. Wissa also leads in shots on target with 4. Head-to-head, Ivory Coast are 6-5-4 all-time against DR Congo. Last game was 1 year ago in the Nations Championship, and the teams drew 0-0. Now, there have been lots of AFCON games between these teams from 2019 to 2014. It was 3-1, and it was a 3-1 Ivory Coast win, a 2-2 draw, a 3-1 Ivory Coast win, and a 4-3 Congo win in those games in that time. Now let's look at some stats and form for these teams. For Ivory Coast, they had been 5-2-0, then they lost 2, then they've won 2 straight in PKs, and then in extra time. So in regulation, they're actually winless in their last 4 games. If you look at it that way, they're 0-2-2. They've scored, though, in 10 of 11 games. There's been 2 or more goals in their matches in 13 of the last 16. For Congo, until last game, all of their games were tight. They drew 1-1, 1-1, 0-0, 1-1 going on to win in PKs. And the under has been 4-1 in their AFCON games of this tournament. The under is also 13-2 in their past 15 games. If you go further back, they've scored a goal in 12 of 17 games, but they've only scored multiple goals in 2 of their last 12. So like most AFCON games, this game should be close. There's not much between many of these teams. Ivory Coast, they only have 1 regulation win, and it was on match day 1, going way back against Guinea-Bissau. Then a loss, a PK win, and an extra time win. So they're getting by, but just barely getting by and needing extra time or PKs to do so. But somehow, some way, they are getting by, and they're using that home field advantage to their edge. Congo, they have been a little bit more impressive, but they too only have 1 regulation win, 3 draws, a PK win, and then last round's big 3-1 win. So I think this certainly looks like it should be another tight game, making the draw at plus 200 odds the best bet for this game. That's my bet for this game. Now the tournament is winding down, but if you're looking for more AFCON picks in the 3rd place game, the finals, and picks in other soccer leagues, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more soccer picks.